If I had to make a prediction, I'd say Rovers will win.
Across the penalty area to Darren Leahy! Would you believe it? 9 minutes of added time have been played.
But I do have a sneaky feeling Shamrock Rovers is going to win this. I think it's going to be very tight, but I'm going to go with a 1-0 win. I know I'm going to get stick for it in the comments, but I just can't see past Shamrock Rovers in this one.
With the header, here is Mandrew. That kind of position. Oh, what a goal! What a goal from Danny Mandrew! Bows are back in front.
I really need to stop predicting this game. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to LOI TV. Now today is the final Dublin derby of the season, and we are doing our preview and predictions video. They've been famous in the past, as I've shown earlier on in the video. I usually get this one wrong. It's a tough game to predict, to be fair, in my defence, but this one I'm really looking forward to it. Unfortunately, won't be able to get to it. Me and a lot of the lads are going to Electric Picnic this weekend, so we will unfortunately not be able to get to the game to do interviews afterwards. Really annoyed that we're not going to be able to make it, but nevertheless, guys, we're going to jump right into the video. Before we hop into our predictions, I just want to give a super quick shout out to our sponsors, OneFootball. OneFootball is the ultimate platform for just about everything football. It provides us news, transfers, updates, and everything you want to know from over 160 leagues worldwide. If you aren't able to make it to the derby this weekend, for example, but you want to keep up to date with every single second of it, OneFootball is the best app out there to keep up to all the live results from around the grounds in the League of Ireland and elsewhere. So if you're not able to make it to Tallaght Stadium, make sure to get down to the description below and download the OneFootball app. It's available on iOS and Android. Now let's make some horrible predictions. So guys, I have looked into a few different things when trying to predict this game. Obviously it's in the Tallaght Stadium. That hasn't been of much help to Rovers. Over the past 2 seasons, Bows have had an amazing record against Rovers, winning 7 out of the last 8, and the draw actually came at Dalymount Park. So the last 3 times they've actually faced off at the Tallaght Stadium, Bows have won on all 3 occasions. This season as well, they have an 100% record against their Dublin rivals. So this game, on paper, it looks like an easy one to predict, but no, obviously Rovers are ahead of Bows in the league, probably been more consistent throughout the season, so there's a lot of factors to consider in predicting this game. A huge thing that's affected this game in the past, and Shamrock Rovers in particular, is discipline or lack of. In the 3 games this season, Shamrock Rovers have had 3 red cards, and I can kind of see why they go into every game with such a point to prove, and they're really flying into tackles from the start. They need to win the game to end this horrible run they're having, and it's nearly playing into Bows' hands. They're kind of winning their free kicks, getting the fouls, using the momentum that from getting players booked and attacking at them. Aaron Green saw red in the first game, Dublin derby, and then they had 2 at the Tallaght Stadium. Trevor Clark and Lee Grace both seeing red. So it is a big problem that Rovers need to address, where they need to kind of find the balance between being up for a game and needing to win it, but without committing into tackles early on and making stupid fouls that are resulting in yellow cards and putting pressure on players to not be able to jump into tackles and stuff later on in the game. So that's a big thing Rovers will need to keep an eye on in this game. Obviously they have got a huge point to prove to their fans in particular, because there's no real hope of Bows catching Rovers at this stage. Bows are 3 points ahead of Derry, who are in Derry are in 4th, Bows are in 3rd. So Bows look like they still have a lot to play for in terms of that, but they look like they will be securing 3rd place. Derry could see this game as a bit of a banana skin for Bows and see it as an opportunity to make up some points on them. As for Rovers, they're going to cut in between Bows and Dundalk. They don't really have a chance of catching Dundalk, but they don't really have any fear of Bows catching them, so 2nd place looks pretty much set in stone. They can kind of focus on the cup a little bit more now, but this is the type of game that doesn't matter where you are in the league. You could be mid-table with last game of the season and it still means so much because of the rivalry between the 2 clubs. It is going to be a fiery contest. Definitely concede there being yellow cards in this one, but it's just a matter of when you get them and how you get them, and in terms of, especially for Rovers in the past, they have shown signs of a bit of lack of game management. Maybe Stephen Bradley needs to... It's weird because it feels like Keith Long has the formula to get the best out of his players in this game, and Stephen Bradley is yet to find it. It's going to be interesting to see how he approaches it. I've heard Rovers fans in the past saying that Rovers was played one way and they can't change it mid-game. They don't change how they're approaching a game, and that is something I've seen from them. They have their way of playing on the ground, nice football, and they don't really have a plan B in terms of if things aren't going their way and they need a goal. It is hard for them to change and adapt. A player who impressed me against Bohemians at Daily Man Park was actually Daniel Carr, who scored on the day to equalise. He caused Bows problems with his direct running, and he has now, unfortunately for Rovers, left the club. There's a bit of beef between him and Bradley when he left, a few bits going to and from on Twitter, but they have brought in Graham Burke, and the return of him from English side Preston North End on a loan deal. This is the type of game that they will want to see the best from him. He did score his first goal back for the club against Waterford midweek, so that's a huge plus for the club to have him. Nice, got a good few minutes behind him, has his goal behind him, and should be fit and raring to go for the game against Bohemians. They also have the likes of Jack Byrne and Aaron McAnuff in midfield. Jack Byrne obviously receiving the news of his call up to the Ireland squad today, which would be a huge boost for him going into this game. And he'll be looking to impress manager Mick McCarthy, who has been known to visit the Tallaght Stadium at times this season. If you haven't checked out our videos on Jack Byrne and also Daniel Mandrew part 1 and part 2 of our Dublin Derby preview, make sure to go back and check them out. But yeah, Rovers do have threats in front coming from deeper areas, and then Aaron Green will lead the line for them more than likely. As for Bohemians, the visitors, it's just a case of more of the same really. I think this could be the game where Andre Wright writes his name into folklore. I could see him potentially scoring in the game and making himself a fan favourite, because this is the type of game that you want to be playing as a new signing, still relatively unknown by the fans. This is the type of game, is perfect opportunity to announce yourself on a big stage. Also Daniel Mandrew and Darragh Leahy both were called into the Ireland under-21 squad. Brilliant news for them and for the club as well. Daniel Mandrew and Darragh Leahy both have had big impacts in Dublin derbies in the past. Could we see the same again this Friday night? Possibly. I could definitely see Daniel Mandrew in particular going forward, causing a lot of problems in that midfield. He is the player that Rovers need to keep an eye on for the full 90 minutes, because you just can't count him out. He can be having a quiet game and then pop up with just a piece of magic. But yeah, I think Andre Wright could be the one to watch in this game. Now, let's make my prediction. I hate this part so much because I just get so much abuse for it, and rightfully so, because I'm always just so wrong. But the way I see this game is Rovers don't need to win as much as Bows do. In my opinion, obviously going by league standings. I don't think that means an awful lot in this game though, to be honest. I think it could be something that's in the back of their head a little bit, in terms of think about the cup and stuff like that. But I do think Rovers need to get some. They can't be embarrassed again this season. 4 losses against Bows in a season would be absolutely horrific for their fans to endure. I do think they need a positive result from this game. But as for Bows, they obviously need to get points to keep the gap against Derry alive, and they'll be fancying their chances. Why not? They've had such a good record over them. They'll be backing themselves to win 100%. So the way I see this game going is I'm going to predict a 1-1 draw. I think Rovers are going to take the lead early on. I think they're going to come out of the traps flying. And I think Bows will grow into the game more and more. Around the 30-35 minute mark, you could see a shift in momentum. And then after half-time, Bows come out and are strong and looking for that goal. And I could see my man Andre Wright being on the score sheet. That's my prediction, my outside shout, is Andre Wright getting on the score sheet. I think he could have a big performance. But I don't know if that's going to be right or not. That's kind of just what I'm feeling right now. If what you guys think of that, let me know in the comments below. Also leave your predictions and what you think is going to happen in the comments below as well. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Make sure to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe.